So for today I'm going to give a little bit of a more explanation on speed painting for Everblight, nyss and various other things. This is not mine, this is Starweaver's. I already did mine, and when I was done with it, Starweaver asked how I did it. So, oh well, he mispainted his, so I'm going to clean them up a little bit. I did speed painting on my whole of the Everblight army I got, and it's one of those ways to paint very fast, paint very well, and basically you don't have to need much skill besides a little bit of more extra time and a little bit of a steady hand, but not to the degree that you need to paint incredibly. There is some old paint still left on the body, which I'm removing now. And it seems like there is some Zepigep leftovers. For filing I use these tools. Very simple, very small. Still my first set. Haven't actually have to buy any others. They're not going to get dull anytime soon. The sort of clicking sounds that you hear is the Zepigep being broken off. It's dead firm. There we go. The face had a little blemish. That's gone. This cheek has a little bit of unevenness. Always do it very lightly, don't start scratching it up, otherwise you will lose a lot of detail very fast. Okay, now for the rest. Mold lines. Yeah, like I said, if you're going to, it's one of those things that you really shouldn't be removing. It really takes not a much amount of time, not a amount of effort, and the model looks that much better. Especially on the plastic kits from Poverty Press, who have recently really have been mold line heavy for me. When you're spending like 50 pounds to get a full unit from something like Man of War or a Beast or a Jag or whatever, it really helps that you also do the minimum amount of effort to actually get rid of the mold lines. Because why not? Okay. Yeah, I'm not fighting the base zone, but the rest of this you can see a thick gooey piece of Zepigep there. So go and try and remove it. Normally we just pull the model out and pack another base, but seeing how this model is stick together, could have been a lot of more issue, and breaking the model, really breaking it at its ankles, which are not much at the moment. So repinning that, and yeah, you know, just file down the base again. Saves a lot of trouble and possible headaches. There we go. Some filing paper. There we go. So, just a few ideas for putting the model together. We've pinned here and here, and in this arm. So we have 3 pins going in there. While you're doing this, I myself use a Dremel. Not with this kind of thick thingy, but one of these. You can just interchangeable. I used the pin wires before. I stopped doing it after I think 4 times and bought myself a Dremel. Because I have almost like a hole in your hand, because it just hurts when you're pinning a whole day long, which I often do with the models that are 10 models, like nyss hunters that basically have 3 or 4 holes. Bane thralls even worse, they have like 7 bits and pieces, and Bane knights the same. And when you're pinning that, there is no way in hell you're going to do that on a normal way. Well, with your pin wires at least not I. So I use a Dremel. When you're looking for drill bits, choose the one with the contact drills. Those basically are drills with a little minuscule drill on top of the drill, so that when it contacts, it doesn't start. Normally when you drill something, it's just going like around and you can't manage it. And with the contact drill, it's like you nip it and immediately it goes in. And that's what the contact drill is for. They cost about 5 euros for 2 of them. So hey, that's really that amount of money. Next, okay, the model is clean. It's set together. The basing is, for the rest, is fine. Nothing really matter. Okay, I'm going to undercoat this with skull white first. So this is the model undercoated. As you can see, there are slight areas that haven't been hit. This really doesn't matter. As long as most of the model has a thin coat of paint on it, it's enough. Because otherwise you will be stacking paint on paint on paint on paint, and you lose detail, and that should be a shame for models this detailed. So yeah, I let it dry on my radiator, which increases it by tenfold. Normally I would advise, when you're undercoating a model, wait about 4 hours. I undercoated inside, since outside it's like 4 degrees, and you need a minimum of I think 15 degrees outside to actually make sure that your paint does not crack, adhere properly and stuff like that. So doing it inside. Safety measure, always make sure you have some kind of mask on your face, because propellant spray is not really good for your health in general. Okay, that's it. She's going to be to the airbrush table now. We'll see you there. Okay, so I'm at my airbrush chamber, and I'm going to airbrush the Nissa or something. Do you have to airbrush? At the moment I don't really have the answer to that in the opposite of I think yes. However, you can undercoat your model with any color completely, as long as it stays thin. So airbrushing just for me is just more simple. So you could do it without I think an airbrush, but it just makes it a lot easier. I'm going to use airbrush paint as well. You could use Vallejo GB when anything, just as you thin it down enough, because it is very heavy paint and it really clogs up your airbrush and stuff like that. So you need to thin it down. So I'm going to just use my airbrush paint, which I always do. It's just an opaque ultramarine blue hue or something it's called, and the white. I don't use extender mostly on the models since I want to keep the paint a little bit more thick than it normally does. I am using an Iwata CMC Micro. Yes, I think the airbrush people will go mad when they hear it when I'm going to use this for undercoating a model. It's one of the best detail airbrushes there is. But at the moment I'm not very active in the airbrushing department when it comes to making paintings and stuff. Anyway, let's get this puppy on the road. I'll always start off with the white, which is 10 drops of white. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It doesn't really matter. 1 drop of blue. What you want to do is make it, in the first step, you want it a little bit more darkened. It really needs to be not too dark, but just dark enough. I'm going to try to explain it when I'm doing it, when you have the result. And just mixing it around with my brush. You can also put a cap on it, like this, close it, and that just bubbles up. It mixes itself, but I noticed that the mixture at that point isn't really 100%, so that's why I'm using my brush. Normally I keep them down, but at this point I'm going to do it like this. Just going to test it out. Always, I can just clean my brush, so there's a little bit of water in the nozzle, so I'm just going to brush it a few times. I actually think it needs to be a little bit more dark. Yes. I'm going to put in 1 blue more. Normally I do larger batches and I have 30 white and 2 blue drops. So that's why I'm a little bit more looking around to make the sort of exactish color that I need. And you're just going to undercoat the complete model from top to bottom. Since the paint is very thin at this point, it is easy to just oversand a little bit. Just put in more paint. It's really easy to do, and no really any details will be there. No. That was the first layer. So the first layer of paint has dried up, since otherwise you'll get some trouble that the paint is going to flow in each other, and you will get basically you will fade your primary color. So when it's dried up and you put the next color, it will be shaded. So that's the whole point of letting it dry first. I quick dried it on again the radiator because I want to do this today basically. So you see there's a nice dark coat of bluish or dark blue. So we're going to add the next layer, which will also be the final layer of basically the second undercoat. And that will end up in, I think it will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18, 19, 20, and one blue. I really want a really high blue. It really needs to be very light, otherwise the shading won't have any effect. It's like really broken white with blue. At least that's the thing I would go for. And from what I can see, it's perfect. So again, you want to spray a little bit through it so that you have the color completely mixed. The idea is now to shadow it, so that you don't going to undercoat all of it. So what I do is mostly spray it from the top to bottom, like this. Like I'm shading it. As you can see, there's a slight contrast coming now at the top of the face, which we basically want. This will be our light blending, or whatever you want to call it. It basically gives them a bit of depth to the model. Always do a little bit more, because when the paint dries, it dries a little bit darker. Not too much, of course, but just the right amount. Can be difficult the first few times. Just do it with the regular trooper models to start off with, and then you can see what happens. Sorry, I had to just check it out myself. A little bit more on the face. Yeah, that's it. So, and that coat we will let dry as well, and then we have our base coat ready, and then we can start painting. So here are some other examples I wanted for you to see. Also done with the airbrush. Same goes for the smaller things and the forge will appear the demon. As you can see, it really helps with skin tone setting. We're basically needing only to paint the details in it, and that's that.